What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you my biggest gecko and my smallest gecko. Now, they're a lot more similar than you might think. Leachies are huge, but they actually eat pretty much the same thing that Eurys do. So in today's video, you guys are going to be seeing that. But before we get into that, I want to show you guys a quick brief little update on my new fish room that I set up, because a lot of things have happened. You guys will see more videos in the future of that if you subscribe, but you gotta subscribe because you don't want to miss out, because it's pretty cool. Reptile room and fish room. How many people got that? So without any further ado, let me show you an update very briefly on the fish room, and then we're going to jump into today's video, which is my biggest gecko versus my smallest gecko. And like I said, they're a lot more similar than you might think. But without any further ado, let's get into this freaking video. Okay. I just wanted to give a quick little tease as to what I've been working on and what I've been busy and up to. So I've been pulling eggs from these guys, hatching these guys, and raising up the babies already. We got fish and snails in here, more fish and snails in here, more fish in here, which you guys will see. This is where I've been hatching a lot of the eggs out, and then they go into this container. But you're gonna have to subscribe because I'm not showing you guys all that in this video. We also have fish in these two tanks, so a lot of the tanks are starting to get filled, looking good. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, especially on these, because the fish room is growing, people. I'll give you one little... Okay, that's it. So this right here is my Eurydactylodes Leachianus, aka my Leachie gecko. I got her as a ready-to-breed pair, proven pair, not too long ago now, and since I got her, she has laid 4 eggs. I'm waiting to see if she lays any more, especially anytime soon. This is Dumbo. Her mate is Gumbo. Side note, look how cute these guys are. Baby's coming soon. But he was being a little bit too sketch, and I didn't really want to get my finger bitten off or anything like that, so he's in his tank and I got her out. But she's cuter than him anyway, so I'd rather have her out anyway. Look at all that patterning. Super pretty gecko. In case you didn't know, Leachies are the biggest gecko species in the world. They are so big, so awesome to have as pets. I mean, look at her. She just literally is just chilling, lets me pet her. Super calm, super chill, awesome gecko. Like I said, I've had them for probably a few months now, I would say. And I've only held her a few times, and she's just as calm as can be. These guys are from New Caledonia in the wild. Personality wise, very calm, other than one thing. In their tank, they have a tendency to be, not just her, but in general, very skittish and territorial of their tank, which it's their home, I understand, but that is something to note. They are a little bit territorial, so definitely be on the lookout for that. This is my Eurydactylodes, or Eury for short, also known as the chameleon gecko. They are significantly smaller than Leachies are. They're from the same spot in New Caledonia. Personality wise, these guys are very gentle, but they're very skittish. And like I just mentioned a minute ago, they do have chameleon-like movements, which is why they're called chameleon geckos, because the way they move around on branches definitely looks like a chameleon at times. So the diet for them and the Leachies is pretty much the same. They both eat insects, and they both eat a commercially prepared crested gecko diet. Just kind of change up how I feed them and the amounts I feed them, and obviously the size of the prey that they're eating insect wise is different. With the Leachies, I can give them roaches and bigger objects like that, but with these guys it's going to be like flightless fruit flies, tiny crickets, tiny dubia roaches, basically small stuff that they can actually fit into their mouth, because obviously they're so much smaller. Now enclosure size, I would say a 12-12-18 for a Eury, or a 12-12-12 would be fine, especially if you're only doing one in the 12-12-12. But ideally, if you had like a 10 gallon tank and you stood it up, that would be great for a Eury, honestly. Set it up bioactive for them, that would be awesome. Enclosure size for one, I think you could get away with an 18-18-24, but if you're going with a pair, I would definitely go with bigger because they're messy, which we'll talk about later, but extremely messy. They poop a lot. Definitely go with a bigger cage if you can. Also, it's starting to thunderstorm, so if you hear thunder or rain, just, you know, I gotta record when I can record, so bear with me here. So now we're gonna show you guys a side-by-side comparison as well as get weights on them just to show you the size difference and the just overall how big these guys are versus how small the Eurys are. It's very cool at them being from the same place but totally different sizes. Okay, so first up we're gonna weigh Gumbo really quick for you guys, and just to show you, 260 grams, and that is how much she takes up on this. Now I'm also going to show you her on a watermelon. I know that's weird, but just to show you a size comparison, this is her in the tray, and I'm going to show you guys her on a watermelon versus the Eury on a watermelon and Eury on the scale. So 260 grams for this behemoth of a gecko. Look how little. 8 grams, that's it. She's not even ready to breed yet. Very, very cute, but like I said, much different from the 260 gram female Leachianus. The way they arc up their back in the middle makes them look, I think, the most like a chameleon, along with their head, but I would say that's definitely why they get that chameleon gecko look. Also, like I said, look at this one's toe, definitely not the same length, like I said, and this one too. Like I said, I don't know if you guys remember the unboxing with this one, but she came in not in great shape, but she's doing well now. I did not think she was going to make it past the first day, to be honest with you, because she came in very rough, but she's doing great, putting on weight, and hopefully next year she will be breeding if she starts laying infertils. But I'm not going to breed her unless she lays infertils, to be honest with you. But look at the pattern on the Eurys. I don't know how these are not more popular than cresteds, to be honest with you. Like, if you have a crested, you gotta have a Eury, man. Look at that, so cute. As promised, this is the Leachie, if she will say, on a watermelon. So just size comparison, compared to a watermelon, that is what the Leachie looks like. Very, very big. Much smaller than the Leachie. Doesn't even take up any part of it really compared to the Leachie, but yeah, like I said, you guys can tell the difference. My biggest gecko versus my smallest gecko. Another thing I want to talk about very briefly is the tail difference. Look at the tail on a Leachie. Now I'm going to show you the tail of a Eury in 1 second. And just like I showed you the tail of the Leachie, look at how different the tail is for the Eurys. And you want to know why? Because the Eurys use their tails to climb and the Leachies do not. But when she grabs on and she's trying to grab a hold, look at that. Now Leachies may do this to an extent, but nowhere near how these guys use it. Like I already mentioned, some similarities are the diet for Leachies is pretty much the same as Eury's. It's just they get bigger bugs and more of the crested gecko diet. That's literally the biggest difference. They just get bigger bugs. Eury's get tinier bugs. Another thing that's a similarity is they're both relatively shy, but I think personally they're very rewarding to keep as pets and just very cool geckos overall. So before you buy them, these are some things I think you should know. Before you buy a Eury, I basically think you need to know that from what I've seen and in my experience, I have to help out with shedding, especially around the toe area, a lot. What I've seen in ones that I've gotten and ones that I see other people have is that they have a lot of issues with suck shed, especially like I said on their feet, which leads to a lot of shortened toes or missing toes, which like I said, that happened before I even got them. So it's relatively often that you see this, and just knowing how much I have to help them with suck shed on their toes, even with putting things like cork bark and things like that in their tank to help them, even with having the humidity be right, they still tend to have issues with suck shed. And you just have to go above and beyond and help them. So not everyone is going to want to do that, especially with the small gecko where it's kind of delicate. But if that doesn't bother you, then hey, Eurys are for you. Now with Leachies, they poop a lot. They're very, very messy. Don't get me wrong, they're awesome, but they poop a lot. For leachies, you have to clean a ton, so that's not up everyone's alley, and you might be like, I don't want to have to clean this tank however many times a week, 3-4 times a week, because they pooped in it and or spilled their food or what, you know what I'm saying? There's just so many different things that they can do. Very, very messy geckos, so that might not be something you want to deal with. So before you buy them, know that leachies are messy and Eurys can be kind of a pain in the butt with shedding. Just, you know, food for thought. And that's it. So what would you guys like to have as a pet? Something small and a little bit more fragile, or something huge and a little bit messy and a little bit sometimes territorial of their tanks? Let me know. Are you guys team giant or team tiny? Let me know down in the comments below. And with that, we are done. So if you guys like this video, make sure to leave me a like. Subscribe if you want to see future updates on the fish room, on the reptiles, on farm animals in the future, and on the fish and everything. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on your notification bell. All of this stuff is free. It just makes my channel be recommended to you more, as well as helps my channel grow. So I cannot thank you guys enough. I will see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody. Thank you for the love. Make sure you like. Okay, bye.